Hi everyone, this is Ja Princess coming to you on my YouTube channel. The purpose of this video is to respond to some perspectives on my book, Burnt But Not Destroyed. Burnt But Not Destroyed is a story that was born out of pain of what I went through in two abusive marriages. But the first marriage, as a means of closure, I wrote a story called Doomed, and it was published in the Jamaica Gleaner on April 20th, I think, in 2008. I may be off a little bit with the date, but it was on the Sunday of that week of April 20th in the Jamaica Sunday Gleaner. That was more of closure to kind of acknowledge how I was feeling about the experience I had just gone through, but that was nothing compared to what I went through in the second um, abusive relationship. And that's where I encountered some narcissistic behaviors. But it was not full blown narcissism. I just think that there were some behaviors of narcissism in that experience. But in the second marriage, I found it necessary to chronicle what was happening because excuse me, there were so many versions of the truth that was going around that at one point I even was called a liar because I challenged a view that was out there. And it I felt as if my voice needed to be heard. At least my perspective, my side of the story needed to be told. And so I wrote it down in my journal. I had been practicing journaling for a while. And in lieu of therapy, I decided I was going to use all my skills as an English teacher, everything I had learned in literature, and put a story together. And that's exactly what I did. At the end of that, I had a friend who encouraged me to publish my story. And I was reluctant at first, but eventually I thought maybe this can help someone. We all know that domestic abuse is called the silent killer because nobody wants to talk. It's like a culture of let's just keep it silent, let's cover it all up, let's all smile and move on and bear your pain quietly. Don't say anything to anyone, it's nobody's business. And I just didn't think that I wanted to subscribe to that kind of mentality because I saw nothing wrong with telling my story. So, once the book was published, there were those who had their opinions, and everyone is entitled to them. And there were like three or four perspectives on the issue going around, and I wish to respond to those today. The first one was those who read the story and felt at the end of it like they needed to give me a hug. Yes, a hug, because they thought you went through so much by yourself in America. Your immediate family is not around. You're fighting with this spouse who is supposed to be supporting you. It's just you and your kids. And except for some church members and my school family and my friends who weren't even physically present, it was as if I was by myself, physically by myself, to deal with it. Because when I came home, it was just me and my children, and it wasn't very easy to talk about what was going on, but I got through it. So some people read it, and their first reaction is, "How strong you are!" and "I'm glad you came through," and "I'm proud of you," and "I'm really happy to see that you have succeeded in your professional life despite this drawback in your personal life." So that's one. And I just want to say thanks to my school family, my colleagues at work, my students, my friends. I could call names, but I might leave someone off because I have so many people who care about me. Some church members from two churches here where I live, and I just want to thank them for the support that they gave me at a time when they didn't care what the story was. They just wanted to make sure that I was okay, and I will always cherish that. Then the other perspective is, why are you putting your story out there? Well, they didn't seem to be complaining when the other versions were being passed around. when my name was being dragged through the dirt, when the smear campaign was in full gear, um, nobody seemed to care that that version of it or those versions were going around. But the minute I stood up to tell my side of the story, why are you telling your story out there? And there must be a place for truth. So I am not going to apologize for eventually finding my voice and letting my voice be heard. The next perspective is how is this story going to benefit anyone? It seems as if you are bearing grudges and keeping score. No. If we're going to look at it that way, then the Bible has a record of um, abuses and injustices that have been done to many people who we worship every weekend as people of faith. So if David's story can be told, and even Jesus' story can be told, and he's the hero of the Bible, he endured so much and he never even did anything to anyone. There may have been ways in which I contributed in one way or the other to what happened to me. But what did Jesus do wrong? And they persecuted him to the cross. He died, and he's the hero of the Bible. His pain is celebrated. So a measly little woman like me, what's wrong with me sharing what I went through so that someone else can come and say, wow, she did it, so can I. So that's the other side of the story. So the purpose of writing my book was not to get back at anyone. And if somebody is mad at me because I told my story and they feature in it negatively, I always say I didn't invite anyone to come into my life and harm me. I did not ask for it. It happened. And it's in the past. I've gotten over it. I've got through it. I've endured it. I've overcome it. And some of these people have not apologized, but that doesn't matter. I'm okay today. One of the people has apologized. My ex-husband, he has apologized, and we share a very good relationship. Whenever we talk, it's always uplifting. He said he was sorry. He gave some reasons why he thought his behavior was the way it was. And he tried also to buy a copy of my book. I'm not sure if he has got one yet, but I'm going to try to get one to him because he's not holding it against me. He valued what I went through. But there are other people who are mad because their parts in the story featured negatively. And I just wanted them to know that they helped me grow. Look where I am today. Look what I have accomplished despite all the hardships. God knew that I needed these people to refine me and to, as they would say, rub me down so that I could grow and be strong and emerge into this strong person or stronger person that I am today. And I just want y'all to know that I am not holding any grudges against anyone. I may be very careful and I may have my wall up at times, but that's just to protect myself. But if I am sure or convinced that someone is a safe person to be around, then I have no problems opening up to them. And the Bible does say, guard your heart. So I'm not going to be foolish. Hurt me once, shame on you. Hurt me twice, shame on me. I am going to be intelligent about my relationships. But that does not mean I have not forgiven people or that I am holding any grudges. So the book is an inspiration for those who go through abusive relationships, who think they have no options. The way I dealt with my issues show a number of options that are available. And I have been asked to come and speak at women's conventions, and I know somebody is arranging for me to come and address the women in her church district so that they can feel like there is some hope, because when you're in an abusive relationship, you lose your voice many times, your power is taken away from you, and you feel like you have no options. You feel like you must just give up, and you bear it quietly because you feel the shame of what's happening to you. And society has a way of blaming the victim, as it is your fault. You brought this all on yourself, so bear it. And even friends sometimes might not understand what we are going through because they don't see the abuser the way you see the abuser. Jamaicans say, see me and live with me are two different things. These abusive people, they are most times charming to those on the outside. But when the doors are closed, that's when the rage comes out and the monster is unleashed. And unless you live in someone's home, you really do not have a good idea of what that person is going through. So that was just to respond to those who might feel, um, however they want to feel about the book that it is out there, and they are entitled to their opinions. And I found my voice, and I use my talent, my gift that God gave me, the gift of writing and speech. And once I wrote my story, it was as if I disconnected from the pain and I could be myself again. Um, so I hope that people will go out there and get this book. It's good reading. I've heard so. I wish that everybody who bought it could post their reviews somewhere, but unless you bought it from Amazon, they will not allow you to do that. So um, you can take it from me. It's very good reading, and if you don't think so, that's your opinion, and you feel free to share what you think could be improved. And I'm working on my second book, which at this moment I'm thinking to call it Love Bombs and Paper Roses. And I hope that y'all enjoy Burnt but Not Destroyed. Thank you.